Meet James Jemmy Wood, probably better known to the world as the character he inspired, Ebenezer Scrooge, minus the heartwarming conversion to goodness. Tiny Tim would not have approved. The life and anecdotes of Jemmy Wood, published in the 1880s, describes him standing at the door of his old house in Westgate Street in his old breeches and hose, low shoes and silver buckles, his shirt showing beneath his waistcoat and with one hand in his breeches or waistcoat pocket. His face was a study for a physiologist, for his forehead receded at a sharp angle while his nasal organ was well developed and mouth and eyes indicated a love of pleasure. Wood inherited the Gloucester Old Bank, set into one corner of his father's drapery shop, in 1802. The bank was one of the earliest private banks in England, founded in 1716, and despite Wood's relatively low interest on deposits and refusal to pay interest on anything other than a full year, was well regarded and made Wood enormously wealthy. Unfortunately, Wood was also exceedingly miserly. Perhaps he would have said careful, and was known throughout England for his meanness, eccentricity, shrewd business practices, and attention to petty detail. Wood never spent on clothes and was so shabby, the story goes, that when he turned up on one of his properties one morning to pick some turnips, he was beaten by the bailiff, who refused to believe that he owned the land and took him for a thief and a vagabond. Another story says that on a coach ride to London, a fellow passenger laughed at his shabby clothes and wagered £5 that Jemmy could not draw £100,000 from the bank at will. Having proved him wrong, Wood claimed his reward. He also famously shunned public transport and once hitched a lift back to Gloucester inside an empty funeral hearse. It was said that he followed the coal carts to pick up spare pieces of coal, yet he seemed to have a fondness for children and obviously had friends around the county. Nevertheless, his reputation for meanness made him the butt of jokes, and visitors to the town called into the bank just to see the man for themselves.